Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at the third studio album from rock electronic group STARSET. If you want to see the previous two albums, I've already done videos on them, you can check them out up here, and let's get started.
This place is a desert for the mind, a cell for the mind, body and soul. All my life I've been a prisoner, cowering at the idea that I might be capable of unique thought. Distant, faded. I seek to know the truth.
Just like I said before with First Light, this isn't a song. It is purely just an intro to the concept of this album. Unlike First Light, in which it is introducing the concept of the band as a whole, this is this album specifically, and I actually don't know the concept of this album. So let's see what this album is about, and then we can analyze it. According to Genius.com, it is pretty much nothing. The concept of this album is just more general, like, hey, this is like some future prospects, or like this vaguely sci-fi future technology and stuff. So that's pretty much what this is. Again, it's not like Vessels, where it is one man's like journey through like love and heartbreak, and it's not Transmissions, which is the concept of we had a transmission from the future, let's like talk about that and like ideas. This is just like, hey, there's some cool sci-fi future shit, which can work too. It's somewhere between the two concepts. Like, it's not as in-depth as Transmissions, but it's also not as like, while still being decent, it's still not as like subtle as Vessels. I don't have much to say about this one, I'll be honest with you. It is a 80-second spoken words intro. It works as an intro, but it's not a song. I can't really rank it. But like, as I said before on my Transmissions video, intros can be more than just this. You can do a lot more to introduce the concept of an album than just pretty much dead on saying what it is. I brought up NF in the Transmissions video, and so that way I'm not bringing up the same person as an example multiple times. I gotta bring up Grandson this time, because Grandson did another concept album, and this is a really good introduction to the concept, and it's not just a spoken word, like 80-second monologue.
Presenting a horror story or a happy ending, depending on which one of us is pretending, in the shame of a past repeated and reenacted, truth that was redacted, youth that never lasted.
So this album is a battle between Grandson and X, who is on the cover here, who is this like political figure who's a stand-in for like a lot of politics. It's a battle between the two. Like, the tracks themselves, it showcases like, hey, this is G's perspective or Grandson, and then there's X perspective at the end. There's a ballad in between that like shows like their two dividing personalities really well. And the song, while being a decent song in its own right, like it's pretty good, it also shows like, hey, this is a deeply political album. It showcases like a lot of the themes, as well as like the sound of the album as well. Like, I found like this is a lot more engaging of an intro than STARSET's intros, because STARSET's are just like 80 seconds of spoken words, where this is a full-on song that works a lot better to convey the theme.
I can see the darkness. Gravity, I pull on you, close enough to rendezvous.
I will say, this is, again, a really strong intro to this album. I don't think we needed the order at all. Like, this is a strong intro. It's kind of lost its energy over time, honestly, because despite that really good drop, it loses that energy, really. Like, the chorus is pretty good. The verses, they work. I just don't think it's as seamless as it's trying to be. It is pretty solid. The vocals do kind of work. I do like the more metal direction they're going in. I just don't think the elements fuse together that well. And his vocals during the verses also seem a bit more iffy. To bring up Grandson once again, because he is another like rock hip-hop hybrid like this song is, I think that to do like a true example of like my complaints with this song, I should have a counterpoint for like, hey, this is it done correctly. Here is Grandson doing like the same kind of concept of hip-hop and metal hybrids, but better.
I am the violence, I am the sickness, won't accept your silence, beg me for forgiveness, will never get free, lay to the
This is Manifest done correctly. It's got a little bit more of the hip-hop influence during the verses, but the verses tie into the chorus a lot better, and the song just flows a lot better. The drop transitioning into the verse also works a lot better. Like, you hear how it keeps the energy up and in fact even builds into this. Manifest does not do that at all. Like, re-listen to the transition into the verse here. Like, it does work in the sense that you can see what it's going for, but it completely destroys all the energy that the chorus and this intro built up. You enter into Manifest and you expect, especially after this first like 30 seconds, you expect to hear this really, really good metal song. And then it transitions into this hip hop that loses all the energy. It does build it back up kind of well, but the way that it transitions back into the chorus is it just pauses and doesn't have any sound for like a second, and then it drops out and then goes back in as the metal. Like, that kind of works the transition. It's just not a good build into the chorus like Blood in the Water did. Honestly, despite this really, really good chorus, like, let me say this, I love this chorus. The verse is okay, I just really, really love this chorus. I just don't think that the song as a whole flows that well. I'm gonna put it in B, because that is an S tier chorus, but the verse drags it down so much that I have to put it in B, which sucks. Like, the song as a whole, it honestly, it feels a bit messy, like, not from a production standpoint, because like you can hear all the instruments, but the structure of the song is what I've got a problem with. It doesn't have good dynamics, it doesn't build in any successful way. It's just like, okay, hip hop, okay, now metal, and there's not really good transitions, there's not a good build. So despite the separate parts working decently well, they don't mesh together, and that's my problem with the song. Honestly, this showcases my problems with Manifest a lot clearer than I thought it would, because it has a lot of the same problems as Manifest does, but it works through them better. Not well, but better. Because, once again, great chorus with a bit more of a hip-hop element verse, but it transitions between the two a lot smoother. Even the dropout into the chorus works better because it built up during the verse. It's like, yes, this is just Manifest, but slightly better, which I honestly did not think I'd be saying. This is A tier, because unlike Manifest, like I was saying before, the dynamics in the song work a lot better. Not well, but better. The chorus, despite not being as good as Manifest, it is pretty good, the drop's pretty good, the lyrics are somewhat decent as well, I'll say. Apparently the lyrics for this song are about technology, Neuralink interfaces, like Elon Musk's implanting the brain chips into your mind and you're communicating with that only. Okay, sure, I don't see that at all, but that's apparently what the song's about. You know, I'll put you down a few spots for that. Not because, like, it's not a cool concept, because it is a somewhat interesting concept, but because it is not clear at all that that is what the song's talking about. Like, here, Genius itself is saying, without the context, song can be translated as growing up and stepping in real life, but within the narrative, it's about being stuck in the dream, as the previous song tells us, which, by the way, it absolutely does not. Even Genius is just like, yes, it was a single. Anyway, so Genius is lying there, sure, stuck in a nightmare, whatever. In the context of divisions, it could be summarizing the narrative's relationship with the truth and the BMI forsaking the ladder and dumping it. I do not see that in these lyrics at all. I mean, now that I was told it, I could somewhat see it. Like, it's not a strong concept, really. Because of how vague the concept of the song is, I'm dropping it a few places. The lyrics, they're not the strongest. So this is a real downstep from Vessels, which is surprising because I thought this was going to be my favorite of that four. Like, when I was planning this, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be like just getting stronger and then it falls off. But no, I think this is my least favorite, which is weird. Because before I analyze these songs, I was like, oh, I love Echo, I love Manifest, I love a bunch of other super strong songs here. But analyzing them is just, it's shallow, I'll say that. These two songs so far have been pretending to be more than what they are. They are saying that they've got a lot more to tell us. They're trying to imply this really big dramaticness, like with the songs being like so similar and being like, oh, there's like super intense parts, there's super hip hop like important parts. We're trying to say something here. We're trying to have like a really cool concept, and it's just not working. It's all like surface level. Like, yeah, on the surface, this song and Manifest as well is just kind of like, yeah, it's so good. I love this chorus. It's so good. But there's nothing really stronger than that. I honestly feel, because the lyrics are kind of weak. Genius seems to be making stuff up about this song and how it relates to the story. And so despite that good chorus, I think I'm bringing it down a bit. It's not that strong, which is weird. I thought it was a super strong song, but it's not. I would say I do like this bridge though.
Life is a journey. So what happened to me?
I do quite like that bridge, so maybe I will move this back up a bit, but it's not that strong overall. Like, this song has a lot of flaws that are kind of inherent to the structure, and you'd have to completely change a lot of the elements in the song. I'm not the biggest fan of these lyrics. I'm not the biggest fan of the dynamics in the song. Saying all this, I'm still reluctant to give it lower than a B tier. Like, even despite the fact I'm criticizing the song so much, there are some good elements to it. I will strongly defend the chorus is good. I really love the synth parts in it. I love that. I love that. I think that's really cool and like a really nice way to bridge the gap that we just heard between the bridge and the chorus. I love the leitmotif that it is providing throughout the song. Like, I think that's really cool. I love the passion that Dustin's putting into his voice when the chorus hits. Like, I think that works really well. It's just I've got a lot of problems with the song. So despite me loving a lot of the elements to it, it just gets dragged down by its structural problems and the relatively weak lyrics that, despite me being told there's a story behind it, I can't see that clearly. Yeah, B tier is generous. Okay, I feel like I'm noticing a pattern in this album so far. And again, this is me being surprised that I'm noticing it, because I expected to come into this album loving it and saying it's the best. A lot of their drops sound the same. They are failing at convincing me of the importance of the story. Like, Genius is saying all these things like, oh yeah, there's so much lore here. It's being like, yeah, this song is about the rebels fighting back against the evil New West. I'm like, I'm not getting any of that from the song. I am struggling to see anything beyond just like, yeah, let's fight. We're cool. We're really good people. We are strong. We are powerful. Like, that's as strong as I can see. And yes, I guess I can tie that into a rebel fighting against like an evil, like, fascist, I guess, republic. I would not have gotten that if I was not told I should be getting that. I will say this song I will praise because it's got some decent dynamics. It builds pretty well. The drop isn't my favorite, but it does work. Like, the song functions. It's not got those awkward hip-hop elements kind of get thrown in here. It sounds really similar to a lot of the other songs I've heard so far, and it's not that strong, really. It's 6 minutes of this. It's high C, but like, to bring in an example of something that it's similar time, like, it's still rock, it's still like heavy metal, but it doesn't bore me halfway through the song like this song has. Like, I am at this point so tired of the sound that they've been pushing at me, and despite the attempts to like give me a breather, it's not really working that well. Like, halfway through the song, I'm sick of it. Here's a pretty much 9-minute song that I do not get sick of halfway through. Like, there's so much stuff happening right now, and it all works together, but it's really fun to just like listen to this section, and like, it's changing stuff up on me right now, and it's still like really captivating, but it's keeping this like simple like bass line as well through it. Yeah, so this song's just changing up so much, and it's just like a minute's gone by and I'm still super engaged. I'm like, yeah, this is really good. Like, I'm loving this, and I'm not bored at all. This song is a great example of how to do a long rock song well. It's because it keeps shifting your focus, and it keeps bringing in new ideas, bringing in something else, and then bringing the old one back, and like working really well in the confines to like yeah, we already had a chorus verse chorus, but it's just so engaging all the way through. And this is bringing in stuff from the intro. It's bringing in stuff from the whole album. It also works as like the concept of this apocalypse, and like talking about all these like really interesting concepts of like the album. And like, yes, this is a really good album. Listen to this album by King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard, great band. But again, if I just skip through this, you can see how much it changes. Yes, so this song, it's 10 minutes long, and you are engaged throughout the entire song. It keeps switching stuff up on you, and you never get bored of it. Let's go back to Starset. That is the first chorus, it's the pre-chorus, a minute in, and here is way near the end. So this is 3 minutes later, and it sounds the exact same. I'm not saying that choruses are bad, because like they do perform like their purpose in the song structure. It's just having a super long pre-chorus into chorus that's like by itself 45 seconds, and to have that not really change and evolve as the song goes, it kind of doesn't really work. It feels really samey. You get bored of it. You get the point by like halfway through, and there's still another 3 minutes left of this. Having that palette cleanse of King Gizzard really showed me how samey the song is. Despite me liking a lot of stuff about this in concept, I don't like it that much overall. Like 6.5 minutes of this being like the exact same. Like, it does have some dynamics, I'll give it that. It does have some dynamics, but that's only in relation to each other. The song as a whole doesn't build. It's just like chorus, verse, now here comes the end. And there's nothing really to like engage you throughout it. There's no like big sense of finality and building. It feels like it's trying to be this massive showstopper, and it really isn't. The more I ruminate on it, I have to bring this down even further. It is not the best. And again, this is coming from someone who thought that I was going to rank everything on this album S. So this is harsh. And I know it's harsh, but I had high expectations because I have listened to this album multiple times and I thought it was going to be all that. But it's just not. I will also say, me complaining about all this super intense and not really having a break, that was like in the context of the song and the fact that we had 3 hard rock songs and then we had this break of a tone resetter, like a palette cleanser of this song. So like, in the structure of this album, I would just cut off half of Where the Sky's In because it overstays its welcome, and then have this. But this song, despite me about to call it really boring, it works amazing as a palette cleanser in this album. So heed what I say with a grain of salt, because it does work pretty well as a palette cleanser. It's just, as a song itself, I'm not the biggest fan of it.
I can fake it, show what you want to, so I can be it. And if I bend just right, lay your heart into my perfect machine. I will show you what you wanted to see. I'm just a broken clown, make believe in counterfeit. Lay your heart into my perfect machine.
do I know?
I do think this works really well as a break in the album. It works better than Telescope because it is really good at having you like slow down and contemplate, especially just like giving a break for your ears from all this kind of, all the drops sound really similar. I am saying the drops can sound kind of similar, and even though Echo has that really good synth to help separate the drop, still is kind of similar, I'll be honest. Perfect Machine, the lyrics, again, I feel like they're trying too hard to work in the metaphors. They did not have to try this hard previously, and the fact that they are trying too hard now makes it not work as well, honestly. They are really proud of this song. I could kind of see why it does somewhat decently tie into like a lot of things at once, but they made a full music video for this, they played this at the concert, and I don't think it's worthy enough of being played at the concert. The dynamics do work. It is stronger than Where the Sky's End. It is a lot stronger. The fact that it is slower does make you pay attention to the lyrics more, which would work if the lyrics are better. Like, dynamically, this song works really well. I'm just not the biggest fan of it. The song should be called I Show You Songs That Do Starset Better. Here is an example of another song that starts slow and then builds into amazingness.
The weight of my phone, like a tablet of stone, seems to grow with the words I just read. To the dark I said pour and forgot to say when, and the words that you wrote come back blacker than smoke. I'm so sorry, I've done it again.
The song and Perfect Machine are both trying to do the same kind of thing, in which, like, despite the genre being different, the dynamics are what I'm really getting at here. Because this song, it also starts slow and with like a big focus on the lyrics, and then it builds into amazingness. Perfect Machine starts slow, and then it slowly builds, dies back down, slowly builds, dies back down, and then during the bridge it builds up into what it's trying to be this whole time. This song has more like a slow build throughout the whole song, and so every time the chorus hits, it hits harder. Perfect Machine, the chorus stays about the same until the very end, and then it drops back down, killing a bunch of the momentum, whereas it blossoms, it doesn't really kill the momentum, especially because there's only like one chorus kinda, and the two times it hits a lot harder the second time.
And I stare at the soldiers before me, all my blossoms that have waited to fall. And I walk, and I walk, and I walk, and I walk, knowing every last one of them is painted in light as I make myself acquainted with the saint of never getting it right.
So that works a lot better because yes, even though it does drop down the energy to make the chorus hit harder, it really quickly builds that back up. And it's not like a full-on 30-second long verse of lower energy. It's like 10 seconds and then immediately, it goes hard. And then again, so you have this and I walk motif. And then near the end, but yes, this song, master of dynamics, master of getting you to pay attention to the super good lyrics and the super good story that he's telling, and just really good. I'm sorry for all the Starset fans, the audience, because I am a Starset fan. I'm just showcasing what you could have instead. And again, I came into this album thinking I was going to love it and thinking I was going to find a new appreciation for the songs I previously loved. That's what happened to me with Vessels. I came in thinking it was going to be the weakest, and it turned out that it's probably their best. I was so excited to come into this and have the same thing happen to me, and I would love an album I already love. Now I'm finding out I kind of think this album's mid. Anyway, back to Starset. Did I even rank Perfect Machine? I did not rank Perfect Machine. Let's do that real quick. You're better than Anti-Gravity, you're better than Where the Sky's End, but you're not that much better than it. pause this now to point this out. This works a lot better as a verse than the ones in Manifest, because, to bring it back to Manifest and my problems with this, even in its own album, it shows Manifest but better. The hip-hop verse works so much better here than it does in Manifest, because everything flows together a lot more seamlessly. It's not just dropping out and then restarting again to like be like, oh, we're doing this now. It's a lot stronger because of that. And despite the fact that, yes, if you drop out a song and then hit you with everything, it does feel a lot harder, and it does work really well in some cases. If you're doing that just to switch the genre, it doesn't work as well. And this song showcases that brilliantly. To be fair, I'm saying hip-hop elements, not because he's rapping, but just because the instrumental is a little bit more reminiscent of some classic hip-hop songs, and like the flow of his lyrics kinda. Like, that just sounds a bit more like hip-hop than rock or metal, and that's why I'm calling it the hip-hop verses, even though it's not Eminem. It's not like a Kendrick Lamar verse, it's just like a little bit more inspired by that, I'll say. Anyway, let's keep going. So that bridge is a lot more heavier, and especially that breakdown, it's a lot more heavier than a lot of other Starset's work so far, and I really appreciate that. This song as a whole works together a lot more than a lot of the other songs of this album. This is going to be the first S tier of this album. Listen to Telepathic again? Nope, it's A tier. I'm sorry, the chorus is weak this time, because although they fixed a lot of the structural issues that have plagued this album, and having listened to a bunch of the other songs, I was like, yeah, this is better, it's still not peak though, because the chorus is him saying telekinetic, just like spaced out wheelie and 3 times. Despite the really good breakdown and the structural issues being fixed, fixing structural issues does not mean that the structure works really well. So like, despite this song fixing a lot of the flaws that I've seen so far in this album, it's just not as good as any of these songs here, especially Telepathic, because if I listen to Telekinetic again, and then we listen to the chorus of Telekinetic, I feel like Telepathic's chorus hits harder and is just a lot better than kinetic. Like, that just so much less interesting than I can't breathe that, you know? I'm trying not to be too loud, but whatever. The chorus is a lot weaker than a lot of their previous works, and despite, like I said, them going in a really interesting metal direction, that is maybe the strongest part of the song, and is not even that strong, really. Like, this part here works really well. That works pretty well, but I do feel like the breakdown is a little bit too slow, like, despite the fact that a lot of, like, hardcore metal breakdowns are slow as crap. This was not how I was thinking of, but it works. So this is metal. Like, this is pure just heavy metal. BFD Division, but with lyrics, and it works really well. Thank you to my coworker for showing me this. But yeah, this works really, really well. And like, this is an example of the guttural screams of metal done really well. Like, that's an example of the guttural screams done really well, and Telekinetic did not succeed in that at all. This song here, despite me thinking it's one of the weaker songs on this album, this is a good example of it being brutally slow, but working really well. So this right here, this is an example of it being slow, like Telekinetic was. Let me replay that section of Telekinetic. So just listen to the slowness and how much less engaging it is, especially. Because listen to this part real quick. And so, despite it being slower BPM compared to like the rest of the song, which is like a... Yeah, so despite it being a slower BPM than the rest of the song comparatively, I mean, it might not be a slow BPM, but it sure feels like it. It's a lot more engaging, and it keeps your attention, and it's just not like a... Because this feels too slow for a breakdown. Like, despite the fact that normally, like, the slower the better with breakdowns sometimes. This is too far. It's too slow, it's trying to be metal, and it's not that experienced enough yet. And despite it fixing a lot of structural issues, it's gonna run into another one. So yeah, this song does not deserve an S tier, and I'm sorry to big TELEKINETIC fans. It is good, it's just not S tier. Yeah, again, my problem is the drop isn't that strong. Like, the chorus works, I will say that. The chorus is good. I like the chorus. It does build pretty nicely from the verse. The transition back to the verse, though, is not that strong at all. And let me skip to the bridge real quick. I'm just holding scissors for some reason. But let me skip to the bridge here, because this samples Ronald Reagan for some reason. Like, this is the best part of the song. So that bridge part is the best part of the song, honestly. And the chorus is kind of strong. I don't like the way it switches back to the verse. Like, I don't think that works that well. I don't think that the verses are that strong either. Like, despite the fact that it does somewhat keep the energy, I feel like it doesn't keep it well enough. And despite the fact that, like, it is better than Perfect Machine, it is better than that, it's not that much better. I think it's B tier, just because, like, comparing it to Manifest, let's say. The structure works a lot better, it flows stronger, the great drop after the bridge is comparable to the Manifest drop. Like, they're pretty much on the same level, but just the structural issues that they fixed, that's what pops it into B tier. Because it fixes structural issues, the verse is stronger than Manifest's verses, the transition is a little bit stronger, even though it's still pretty weak. But yeah, it's not my favorite.
First you gotta know how to play the victim. Hate to tell you so, but you repeat the symptoms like an aftershock. Got me shaking at the sight, oh, got me quaking in my mind. It's never black and white, oh, going seismic out of spite, oh, sunlight. You've been seeing red and there's no one left to blame. Got me shaking at the sight, oh, got me quaking in my mind.
This song is the strongest on the album so far. It's got a really good chorus, it's got great dynamics, it really shows the potential, again, of these fusing of the more hip-hop elements with the more metal elements. The drop is so good. Again, I love this chorus. Lyrics, this album hasn't got the strongest lyrics in my opinion. It's the weakest in terms of showcasing its concepts through the lyrics. Like, you really have to watch the music videos, whereas in something like Transmissions, you do not have to watch the music videos to understand the concept. And maybe that is because they shoved it in your face with all the after the songs segments, but I think even in the lyrics themselves, it really helped show the concept more, and this album does not have that at all. Having said that, I will give Faultline a S+. I honestly had not really heard the song before, or like paid attention to it before I went to the concert, and that I instantly fell in love with it. It is really, really strong in like a lot of ways. There's so much to praise about this song, except for the lyrics, really. Actually, yeah. The lyrics being kind of weak is going to move it down to just S, because pretty much everything about this is good except for the admittedly kind of weak lyrics. And I'm reserving my S+ tier for ones that excel at everything, and this one just does not excel at everything.
I remember
Wish there was a drop there, but it comes later, I'm pretty sure, so that's fine.
Take the pain away. You take the pain away. You take the pain away. Don't let the dark take over, and it's over. I get the feeling that it won't subside.
This song is a lot stronger than I gave it credit for. Something's weird happening to me where all the songs I expected to rank high aren't, and the songs that I did not expect to rank high are ranking pretty high. Cause honestly, one of the better songs. Despite the lyrics being admittedly really repetitive, with the bridge and the chorus both being like just one or two lines repeating, it works pretty well because the passion in his voice works, and his voice, the tones of it change, and the instrumental builds as the song goes. Not the biggest fan of that drop, or lack of one, at the beginning, but that's fine. On a further reflection, I'm gonna bring it down just to A tier, just because despite me loving that chorus, it's repetitive. Despite the verses being pretty strong and like structurally it works, not the strongest. Yeah, this song has been moved down to A tier just because the repetitiveness of the lyrics, despite working, wish there was something more. The lack of the drop during the first chorus, despite working decently well, the fact that we don't have an amazing drop, just a somewhat decent one after the second chorus, it doesn't fully justify us skipping the drop. Yeah, I think A tier is fair, unfortunately. It's still pretty good. It's still better than the ones I expected to be high.
These trials make us who we are, who we are, we are. We take up places in the dark and turn our hearts to the stars. Forged in regret on the silversmith. Doomsday. Obey. No more in silence. The steel in our hearts will be monuments. We'll rise from the dark like Lazarus. These trials make us who we are, who we are, we are. We're motivated by the scars that were made of. They show me a new way. Slowly, slowly, they led you astray. Away we go now into the fray. These trials make us who we are.
I'm so glad that deeper analysis has not ruined the song for me like it did with Echo and Monster. I still love this song. I have since I first heard it. It is good. It's so good. I feel like it is S+. Probably the best song on this album, to be fair. The dynamics work super well. I love the drops. I love the lyrics. I love the message of the song as well. All in all, it's really, really strong. I love the passion in his voice as well. A lot of the issues that I had on the first half of the album have honestly been resolved by now. I guess they put their weakest songs first, so that way like the true fans had the good ones, which I guess doesn't really work in this age of streaming, but this song's super strong. I love it. And I'm trying to think about how to word this, but like everything about why I love Starset can be found in this song. This shows truly what they can be. This song kind of has me forgive the weakest songs, because I'm like, oh, they just didn't succeed on their vision truly. And all the songs before that I didn't like as much, this is what they could have been. And so hearing this is like, yes, they finally realized that potential that they had, and they succeeded on it. And so even if these amazing songs don't happen as much as they could have, the fact that they happen at all shows me why I keep loving this band. Because yes, they have a few misses. They have a few structural issues. Every album so far has had like a few like issues over the whole thing, but when they get it right, they get it right. That's what I'm trying to say. So even though I've had my issues with this album, when it hits hard. Anyway, next song.
Is this real? 'Cause I can't feel. Am I just a ghost in my own machine? In a sandbox in the entropy? Am I in a dream or in between? I don't think 'Cause I'm not waking
The reason I don't like it as much, it's not because it's more electronic and I'm like, oh, electronic ew. It's because it's not that, it doesn't hit that hard, it's not that big. It doesn't feel that much difference in terms of like, yeah, this is like, get pumped, get excited. It's not that engaging of a chorus is what I'm trying to say. And it reminds me of Linkin Park a bit, like specifically these two songs. You hear these electronic elements, but despite having these electronic elements, the song still hits really hard, and in fact it's probably even better because of these synths and all this electronic stuff. Can you hear the similarities? They're both going for this more electronic, really like synthesizer kind of tone, but Linkin Park's chorus just is better, and it really helps me love the song a lot more. While despite the fact that the verses on this song, super strong, I love the verses, I don't like the chorus. And once again, structural issues, I'll put it BT, I'll put it high C. Chorus is kind of weak, but those verses are pretty strong. The lyrics are fine, there's nothing super stand out about them though. Hear this and think what emotions is expecting you to feel. Imagine like you're hearing this for the first time, I mean you haven't because I just played it for you, but listen to this and think you're hearing this for the first time, you're expecting this big massive build, and just listen to what you expect to happen versus what actually does happen. It's like it's building up, it's building. You expect like because you expect this massive like yeah. To bring it back to Linkin Park again, let me play that again and listen to a band doing it right. Like that chorus is just a lot better and more and stronger and more dynamic, and this is also typically in the structure of songs when you repeat the last chorus it's gonna be bigger, it's gonna be more impactful. Typically you build up these amazing dynamics throughout the song and then it just like feels a lot stronger when you finally hit the last chorus, and you probably like add a lot more instruments to it, or like you change something with the vocals, or just like you change something to make it feel a lot bigger. And the last chorus of the song being the exact same doesn't really work that well. And to have the first chorus of a song with like kind of similar tones of like similar instruments and somewhat similar like vocal patterns be this much stronger in the first chorus. So yeah, I feel like Waking Up is just C tier. Yeah, this is once again peak Starset for me. I love that intro so much. I love the dynamics of the song. I love the lyrics over the whole thing. I love a lot of things about this. I adore this song so much. The lyrics are great. The dynamics are great. The instrumentals are amazing. The vocals are really good. Everything about the song works really, really well. This is peak Starset. It's really, really good. I wish the whole album was filled with bangers like this that didn't have a bunch of structural problems, but it's not, unfortunately. But yeah, it's really, really good.
Prepare the diving bell. Just stay up here until I'm back again. I'll
I think the song does work as a closer for the album. I don't think it's as strong as a closer as the previous two closers. I think it's a stronger song than Everglow. I feel like it's just not that strong of a closer. So I'm gonna rank it like right here, D for Diving Bell, but that's purely because it's a stronger song but not a stronger closer. It's shorter than Everglow, which is nice. It also is a bit more energetic than Everglow. It's got a better structure to it, I feel like, which is weird coming from this album. I just think the song overall takes too long to get good and doesn't like interest you along the way while it's getting good. Because like I pointed out earlier with Blossom, that song also takes a while to get good, but it keeps you engaged throughout the way. The song doesn't really do that. The song just feels a little bit boring to me. I'm not the biggest fan of the lyrics. I just feel like it's kind of weak and not the strongest. Unfortunately, I could say about a lot of this album.
Hear me from the bottom, forged in regret. I'm the silversmith. Babe, no more in silence. Trials make us who we are. We're motivated by the scars that we're made of. We take our places in the dark. It's written in the stars and the hieroglyphs. Sending the lion-hearted, the stones break bones, but we're then hammers. These trials make us who we are, who we are, we are. Motivated by the scars that we're made of.
This is interesting, to say the least. I do see what they're going for. I see very clearly what they're going for. I'm just not the biggest fan of the massive switch-ups in tone, and it's not the cleanest switch-up like this whole album has been. Like, I see clearly what they're going for. It just doesn't... It wasn't executed the best.
Calling, we've come out to play. Show me a new way. We go now into the
That last scream was impressive. Yeah, like I said during the song, I could see what they're going for. I don't like the execution of it, but I can recognize what you're going for. I just don't think that the song works that well, like, on its own. I don't think it works for what it's trying to do either. I can see the talent behind it. I just don't applaud the execution. I feel like it's E.T. as well. Better than Everglow. No, Everglow's about the same. Because like I was saying, it's not the strongest. It doesn't work that well on its own. There's a lot of things about this that don't mesh that well together. I can see they're going for this sort of like anthemic, we can get through this together, especially like the whole chorus of everyone coming in. I can see they're going for this super important, we'll get through this together guys, because this was released like right around COVID started. But I don't think it works the strongest. Overall thoughts, as I've said it a few times already, going into this album, I was expecting this to be my favorite. Just because I loved Manifest, Echo, Trials, Other Worlds. I loved those so much, and I figured, if I revisit the whole album through a more analytical lens rather than just like listening to it, then I'll love it more. But no, I loved it less. This whole album is plagued with structural issues and having good ideas and not blending them together that well. It went for a more electronic hip-hop tone, but also going for a more metal tone at the same time. And not everything merged together that well. The electronic and metal sounds fused together brilliantly in Echo, but the hip-hop and metal sometimes worked, sometimes didn't. and I don't know, it just wasn't that strong. Like, listening to the whole album, the first half sounds super samey. All kind of blends together, and not in a good way. There's not that many new interesting ideas being shoved at you, especially in Where the Skies End, which is so much weaker than I thought it was gonna be, and just nah. I'm gonna give this album gonna be a strong 4 to a light 5 out of 10, which is because despite the fact that there's some really good songs in here, the overall album as a whole is not the strongest. Just listen to like 3 or 4 of these songs as singles, don't listen to the full album. There's a lot of structural issues. The lyrics, I haven't even talked about the lyrics yet. The lyrics aren't the best, like they work. The lyrics work as in he is saying words, and you can figure some stuff out for them. But Genius was saying there's this whole story about this BMI, which is kind of like shoving a chip in your brain, and this like whole rebellion arc going on, fighting with rebels against this fascist dictatorship, and like all these concepts and like people turning off their BMI, the neural interlink. That is not present at all through the songs. It's probably there in the music videos, but like I'm judging the songs, not the videos. And so like the lyrics, I guess, are trying to be vague enough to apply to that, and so it's kind of shallow. It's not saying anything at all, whereas Genius is like reading into all these things to be like, yes, this is super strong. Technically, the sound is really good from like an instrumental level. It works really well. The vocals are super strong as well. I love the more metal direction that it went into in a few places. It's just my biggest issue is the structure and the pacing of the album and the lyrics as a whole. It has some few high points. Overall though, apart from those few high points, it's pretty mid to a bit below mid, and so even though those high points are there, it's still like mid at best, and that's me being generous. And again, I came into this thinking I would love it, so this is unfortunately me seeing through my bias of this album and showing and seeing it for the mid that it truly is. So thank you for watching that video. If you would like to watch my previous videos ranking transmissions and vessels, they're over here, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, you can click on my face. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day, stay safe, stay alive.